morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Kelly Mays, and I'm teaching to you live this morning from Mystic Fitness. So I hope you guys are all getting close to your devices, sitting them up where you can see them and hear them in your room, grabbing your yoga mats and setting up for the day. And it is a wonderful day filled with so much potential, filled with so many opportunities. And what a better way to get started than to incorporate some movement and breath. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm looking forward to flowing with you guys. So if you're just starting to tune in now, my name is Kelly Mays, and I teach Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sundays live for Mystic Fitness. And we are just so happy that you guys join us every morning. We are constantly looking for your feedback and support. We love any inspiration you guys give us. It really keeps us going. And I'm sure this does the same for you. Keeps you guys going too. Good morning, Tom. So just a couple of quick announcements. We'll run through them super quick this morning. Mystic Fitness comes live to you every morning at 9 a.m. on Facebook and Instagram. So if you have any family members that are looking for some free yoga to access, you can send them our way. We're also on YouTube. So if you go onto YouTube and you type in Mystic Fitness in the search bar, you're going to see our little logo, and you're going to be able to click on that logo and see all of our videos on there as well. Good morning, Gloria. Good morning, Pinal. And what's so great about the YouTube channel is that it is able to be accessed if you don't have a, social media presence on YouTube. It's just totally free, totally available. Anyone who has a device or computer can access these without having to put their picture or name anywhere. And that's really ideal for some people. And we want to be able to serve them just as much content as we're serving all of our Facebookers. In addition, if you guys feel inclined to make a donation, we really appreciate any donation that you guys can make. But in no way is it necessary to enjoy these classes. But if you do feel inclined to make your donation, you can go on to Venmo, look up Mystic Fitness as our username, and go ahead and make your donation there. And if you don't use Venmo, go ahead and reach out to us and we'll make it work. If you make a donation, you're going to get a beautiful handmade mask delivered to your home. And as of yesterday, it is required to go out into public with a mask on. So it's good to have a couple. You want to have a couple that you can rotate and oh, it is Thursday. You're right. It is Thursday. I think that's so cute. That's just how it is, right? We're all confused about the days. Yeah, so on our information we wrote Wednesday, but it's Thursday. So good thing we have Kate to keep track of the days. Thanks, Kate. Someone's got to keep track of the days. I know me and Amy aren't, just barely. So anyway, yeah, if you guys feel inclined to make those donations, you're gonna get a handmade mask, and it's good to have a couple masks at home. That way you can wash them and rotate them as you enter into the public. You know, you don't want to come out, you don't want to go out and then come back with the same mask, right? You want to switch it up, make sure that all the germs are off of it. So we'll go ahead and get started this morning. So find your way into a seated position, or maybe you want to lay down this morning. Wherever you choose to land, just take a deep breath in and let it out. Again, inhale and exhale. Really bringing that attention and awareness into your breath. And at first, it seems like we'll never be able to turn off that rotating thought. But after a couple breaths, And this intention of coming onto your mat and awakening into the present moment. It's almost like when you start at the top of a staircase, and each step brings you closer to the ground, each breath being each step. Maybe coming onto your mat this morning with joy, or maybe the opposite, maybe anxiety or sadness. Just allowing it to be welcome, whatever you're feeling. And the important part is that you're here. So just plant yourself, let your roots grow. Feel this deep connection to this practice, honoring whatever arises. And taking another deep breath in and letting it go. Again, inhale and exhale. Slowly start to reawaken, maybe starting at the toes and fingers and then rocking the head from side to side if that feels nice. And taking the next 2 breaths to pick yourself back up into your seat if you're not already there. Bringing your hands over your heart. Connecting to this space. Connecting to the collective. So even though we're all apart from each other, there's still this energetic pulse connecting us all. We'll begin our class with the sound of Om, starting with the cleansing breath. Breathe in and out. And for Om, inhale. Om. Have a healthy class, everyone. This morning we'll go ahead and start in a prone position, laying down on our bellies to start. So just slowly make your way there. No rush. Take your time to arrive. And once you're there, bringing the hands underneath the head, bending at the knees, and windshield wiping feet from side to side, getting some gentle movement through the lower back. Depending on what kind of ground you're on, you might be experiencing a little bit of a deep tissue massage on the thighs as you roll them across the floor. And this is such a beautiful, low impact way to access all of that connective tissue in your lower back. We're also incorporating a gentle little twist here, very subtle. It might feel good to circle your legs around here, warming up the knee joints, taking some big sweeping circles. They can be moving in unison or maybe moving apart from one another. Whatever you choose to do here, we'll take it in both directions when you're ready. Lengthening the legs down the mat and then finding a half frog pose here. So open that left knee out towards the left with a 90-degree bend in it. This is kind of like a position that you would lay in your bed almost. From here, you can take some pelvic tilts, pressing the hips down and then lifting the hips up. And depending on how sensitive that inner knee is, it might feel nice to have a little cushion. So I have this extra mat here that's protecting me. So you might need to just throw a little towel under there or block. Then we'll lengthen left leg back down the mat, but keep it bent. We'll find a quad stretch by grabbing onto the left foot or ankle. And with your inhale, really lengthen that left knee towards the back of your mat and provide yourself just enough pressure of pulling the foot towards the body and kind of kicking that foot away from the body. And I say just enough because we want this to be subtle. We really want this stretch to be coming from the quad rather than going into this like back bendy motion. Breathe in and out. One more breath here. Lengthening left leg back down the mat. We'll take that half frog on the right side. So opening up that right knee out towards the right in a 90-degree angle. Softening yourself into this, and then maybe you find those pelvic tilts, picking the hips up off the ground and then pressing the hips down into the ground. So we're getting a little movement through the vertebrae of our lower back. Also opening up through our hip flexor here, using the weight of the body to allow this to happen. Find one more full round of breath here. And then extend that right leg back down your mat. We'll find that quad stretch by keeping a bend in that knee, grabbing onto foot or ankle, and taking that same progression here. So start by lengthening that right knee towards the back of your mat, and then providing yourself with that subtle activity to stretch through your quad. Make sure both hips are on the earth. Breathe in and out. Last one, inhale, stretch. And exhale, soften and release. Bringing the palms next to the chest, we're going to find some rolling cobra poses here. So engage the shoelace sides of the feet into the ground. With the inhale, start to peel the chest up using that strength of the shoulder blades pulling together. Maybe the chin rises just for a moment, and then exhale, roll that down. Inhale is a picking the chest up, gazing up, and exhale, rolling down. So this is kind of similar to our cat and cows, similar to those rolling bridges that we do here, or the warrior one rolly things that we do, those flowy warrior ones. We're just kind of incorporating some movement into the neck, but we're making sure that we don't strain our neck as we gaze up. So taking it to your comfort level, find one more rolling cobra here. And release all the way back down. Keeping those hands stacked below the shoulders. We're going to either press yourself up with your knees on the ground, finding a table pose, or follow me in a reverse push-up. So tuck the toes under, engage through the belly on the inhale. Exhale, press your way up into your plank pose, and then let the knees drop. Let's find some cat and cows here. Inhale, drop the chest, gaze forward. Exhale, curl and round through your spine. Inhale, arch and open the chest. Exhale, curl and round. Finding about 4 more here. And on your last couple, you might decide to make this a little bit more organic, maybe rocking the hips towards the right and circling them all the way around. Just finding these beautiful rotations through your hips, warming up the joints. Taking it in the opposite rotation when you're ready. Eventually coming back into your table pose, and we're gonna get a little funky. So I want you to drop that right forearm to the ground, and then pick the left knee up off the ground and just rotate that left leg, finding some circles through your left knee, or excuse me, the hip rather. And you can find some movements here that are a little bit more organic, taking this rotation in the opposite rotation. And then coming back to center, go ahead and open up that left knee out towards the left, like you're kind of a dog using a fire hydrant. And then with the exhale, lower it to just a hover. Inhale, press it open, almost like you're doing a leg press. Use that glute. Exhale, fold back. 2 more here. Inhale, press it open. Use that hip flexor and glute muscle. Exhale, hover. Last one here, we're going to open up that left leg and then kick it out to the left. Hold here. We're going to take 5 toe taps. So let that left leg tap for 5, 4. This is really difficult. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and land that left foot out to the left. Come back onto both palms and take some back and forth presses here. So we're kind of alternating between this extended leg child's pose and then pressing the hips forward, opening up your chest towards the front. Find about 2 more here. Coming back to center and lifting the chest up, keeping that left leg where it is. Inhale, arms reach up. And then with the exhale, let's just roll those wrists a couple times. Getting into our joints, opening and closing the fingers. We always want to make sure that we roll our wrists out in our vinyasa classes because we do spend a significant amount of time on our hands in our downward dogs and table pose, chaturangas. All right. Let that left fingertips land to the left thigh. Find a side stretch on the right side body. So those right fingertips come up and over towards the left. Try to relax the right shoulder away from your ear so that this side bend is coming from the side body. Coming back to center, both arms reach up. And with the exhale, returning back into your table pose. Drop the hips over towards the left and then over towards the right. And again. Returning back to your flat back, dropping that left forearm to the ground, and then rotating that right leg and hip. So just finding some big circles here. And that right leg can extend and bend along its journey. Go ahead and take that in the opposite rotation. And then we'll open up that right knee out towards the right. Find that little dog pose. Inhale. Exhale, drop that right knee down to just a hover. Inhale, press it open. Use that glute muscle. And exhale, close. 3 more here. Inhale, open. Exhale, hover. 2. This time, as you open up that right knee out towards the right, kick that right leg out straight. Find 5 toe taps starting now. 5, 4, 3, I know, 2, 1. Land that right foot to the ground. Come up on both palms and take some back and forth presses. So that leg kicked out to the right is called a helicopter pose or a modified helicopter pose. And it's really difficult because it accesses that outer hip strength that we don't often use, when we're doing the crescent lunges or the chair pose. So I really like to take any opportunity I can to strengthen those muscles that I'm not usually strengthening. Coming back to center, peeling the chest up towards the sky, both arms reach up. And on the other side, we did our wrists. So let's get into our shoulders by just rotating the shoulders a couple times. And what the heck, you can also rotate your wrists too. It's almost like that activity of rubbing your belly and patting your head, right? Taking it in the opposite rotation. Both arms sweep up. Let that right fingertips drop towards the right thigh, finding a side stretch on the left side. So inhale, the left fingertips come up and over towards the right. Relax left shoulder away from the ear. Breathe into that stretch. Inhale, both arms sweep up. And with the exhale, returning back into your table pose, taking any movements here that feel nice to your body. And let's activate our core here by tucking the toes under, allowing yourself to come into your flat back. And I want you to check in with your fingers. Are they spread wide and kind of grasping the floor, or are they just kind of hanging out? You want to really activate and hug that floor with the fingertips. Go ahead and lift those knees to just a hover. Feel how that core reacts to this posture. The core should be feeling nice and tensed up. Breath should be moving naturally, though. Breathe in and out. Inhale, hips pull up and back, downward facing dog. Start to pedal your feet here, bending and extending through the knees, bringing one heel to the ground at a time and then pressing the other heel up towards the sky. And in our downward facing dog, we do tend to bring all of our attention into our hamstrings and legs. And just for a moment, bring your attention into the hands and shoulders. Make sure those shoulders are pulling down and away from the ears. Notice if that chest is really kind of pushing towards the thighs, and maybe you equal out here so that you're not putting too much stretch on those shoulders by hyperextending them. Breathe deeply in and out. And this morning, we'll just take a couple back and forth presses just to really activate through the limbs, get the joints moving, blood flow to the body. Inhale, bend the knees to a hover. Exhale, plank pose. You guys know how to do this. Inhale, pull those hips up and back, knees hover. Exhale, plank. One more here. Exhale, plank pose. Hold here. Go ahead and bring those knees to the ground. We're going to take those push-ups that we took yesterday, I think. I don't know. Kate's keeping track of all the days for us. So with the inhale and with the exhale, lower halfway down with the elbows pointing back. Inhale, press up. Exhale, lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and land all the way to the ground. Let's find that low cobra. Inhale, peel the chest up. This time the chin stays tucked to protect your neck. Shoulder blades pull together. And exhale, release, making your way back to your table pose. And then finding your downward facing dog. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. Spending a moment in your forward fold with a deep bend in the knees, release that lower back, shake the head, yes and no. So I love to access our neck when we're not really using it to hold our head up. So when we come into these forward folds, it allows us to move our neck when it's not tensed. So go ahead and give it some love. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms circle, sweep up. And exhale, hands to heart. Ground down here. Feel the feet pressing into the earth. Inhale, arms reach up. And with the exhale, hinging from the hips, forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hands plant, stepping back to your plank pose. This time, choosing if you'd like to go for your full version of chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Knowing whatever version of chaturanga flow you take is going to be the exact one that you need. You can always skip them altogether, or if you're looking for more power, you can add extra push-ups. Inhale, right leg reaches up towards the sky. With the exhale, curl the knee in towards the chest. Inhale, lengthen that right leg back up. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Inhale, extend. And exhale, right knee to the chest, step to your runner's lunge. So in your runner's lunge, you can always take blocks with you here. Make sure the feet are hip distance apart and really press that right heel into the ground. Bringing the left fingertips onto your block. Inhale opens you up to your twist. Right fingertips reach up towards the sky. Take it nice and slow so that you can really keep those hips squared. That twist is coming from the left rib cage, pulling over towards the right. Breathe in and out. Using your core stability, we're going to rotate into our high crescent lunge. So go ahead and peel that chest up. Left arm towards the front of your room, right fingertips towards the back of your room. Inhale to center, find your crescent lunge, reach the limbs up, and with the exhale, twist to the right as you dip down. Inhale to center, exhale, twist right. Last two. And one. Inhale, return to your proper crescent lunge. So keep a bend in that right knee. That back left knee has a slight bend in it as well to try to tuck the pelvis under. Reach the arms up, inhale. And with the exhale, we're going to bring the weight into the right foot as we pull left knee up towards the chest. This is your inhale here. Exhale, stepping back to your crescent lunge. Arms reach up. Exhale, dip down. Inhale, pull that left knee in towards the chest. And exhale, step back to your crescent lunge. Arms reach up. Exhale, dip. Inhale, left knee to chest. Exhale, crescent lunge. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, dip. Inhale, left knee in towards the chest. And exhale, land back in your crescent lunge. Hold here. Maybe the gaze follows your fingertips reaching up towards the sky. And as you exhale, dialing left heel down, opening up to your warrior two. Setting up in your warrior two, taking a moment. So most of our class we did with our hips facing forward. Now we're opening up our hips. So take your time to really find what that feels like for you. The basis of this pose is the right toes face forward. Back edge of the left foot presses towards the back of your mat. So you're finding this contrast effect of pressing forward with the right foot and pressing back with the left foot. Open your arms, breathe in, breathe out. Again, inhale and exhale. Every part of your leg should be engaged here, no one left out. Let's flow in and out of some warrior poses by flipping right palm. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, extend. Bring that right forearm into right inner thigh. Inhale to reverse. Find that side stretch on the right side. And with the exhale, extend. 3 more like this. Inhale and exhale. Last one here. With the exhale, holding in your side angle pose. So taking a moment, maybe you need a little bit more support and you take that right forearm on top of your thigh as a little bit of a shelf. Or maybe you rely purely on those abdominal muscles and reach that right arm out towards the right. You can always find a half bind with the left hand coming down towards the hip. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel that little bit of struggle in the legs. It's okay. That's where you grow most. That's where all the strengthening comes in, from that little bit of struggle. Try to imagine that both hips are pressing on the wall behind you and the shoulders as well. Last breath here. Returning back to your warrior two, lengthening through the right leg. Turn those toes to face in. We're going to find a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, arms open up into your T. And exhale, hinge forward, relaxing all the way down here. So I want you guys to check in. I did a lot of work on that right leg to start you off this morning. So notice how the left leg feels a little left out. That right leg has some warmth to it. It's a little bit more open now. And we're going to get to do the left side shortly here. Go ahead and walk the fingertips over towards the right leg. Find that runner's lunge once again. Hands plant, step that right foot back to your plank pose. And we're going to pause in our plank pose here and do some toe taps. So we're going to tap the left foot out to the left and back to center, right out to the right and center. 10, 9, 8, 7. Try to keep that upper body and hips level. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that center plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's find 2 breaths here. Know that all of my cues are purely suggestions and is up to you if you want to take them or not. That's the beauty of this practice, is that it's totally original and unique to you. And honestly, the way that my body learns most is by kind of expressing itself on its own and learning, oh, I kind of like that. Inhale, left leg reaches up towards the sky. Exhale, left knee to chest. Inhale, re-extend that left leg. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, sweep. Exhale, over to the left elbow. Last big sweep. And exhale, step to your runner's lunge. So make sure those feet are hip distance apart. I like to grab a block and place it underneath my right fingertips so that when I swivel myself open to my twist, I'm already a little bit higher out of my waist. So just for a moment, maybe you take a look in the monitor. Notice my body position when I have that block, and then notice it when I don't have that block. So see how my hips are kind of pressing out towards the left a little bit more without that block? So even having a slight advantage of that block really helps you find this twist. That right rib cage is rotating over towards the left this time. Inhale. Once your body is stable, go ahead and peel yourself up to that high crescent twist. Wow. Inhale, left arm pulls up. Find your crescent lunge, legs extend. And exhale, dip and twist. Inhale to center. Exhale, dip and twist. 3, 2, and 1. Returning back to your proper crescent lunge, so keeping a bend in both knees. Arms reach up, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, picking up that right knee, pulling it to the chest. And you guys know where we're going here. That exhale is to your crescent lunge. In, out is your dip down. Inhale, right knee to chest. Exhale, crescent lunge. Hold for the inhale. And exhale, dip. Inhale, right knee to chest. Exhale, step it back to your lunge. Hold for the inhale. Exhale, dip. This is our last one here. Pull the right knee in towards the chest. Step it back to that crescent lunge and hold. Arms reach up. Maybe the gaze follows. And then dial the right heel down. Open up to that warrior 2 pose. Take a moment in your warrior 2 to set it up. I'm going to grab a quick drink of water. So the basis of our warrior 2 on this side is the left toes face the front of the mat and that outer edge of the right foot towards the back of the mat. And we're not just placing them there, they're actively pressed in there. So there's a difference between just kind of hanging out in the joints and kind of like moving like without that intention. And then there's a difference between having that intention and engaging every individual muscle through your legs. Hold for the inhale. Exhale. Flip left palm, inhale, reverse your warrior, and exhale, extend your warrior. We'll find 4 more here like this. Inhale and exhale. Again, in and out. 2 more. This time, as you enter your side angle, hold here. So we want to make sure that both feet are still pressing into the ground. If you like that left forearm on top of the thigh as some support, you can take that as well. Maybe that half bind, the right fingertips reach towards the back of the left hip. Maybe that left arm reaches up and you're using only abdominal and core strength to keep you lifted. Notice that the hips want to kind of press back, and I want you to try to keep the hips stacked with shoulders. Find 2 more breaths here. Feel that little bit of struggle through the legs. That's where we grow the most. Last inhale. Exhale, return back to your warrior 2. Lengthen that left leg, turn the toes in. Inhale, open up your chest. Arms reach out into a T. And exhale, hinging forward. We'll be here for about 4 breaths. And then we'll continue practicing together. So just enjoy this little pit stop. Come back to your breath. Shake the head, yes and no. And there's a method into our poses. We don't just do these poses just because, right? Each pose has a reason to it. In a pose like this, we kind of sandwich in between those more difficult postures. That way it gives you an opportunity to come back to your breath, feel that lengthening and stretching through the hamstrings. So yoga is less about super deep stretches and more about that pattern of getting the body warmed up, moving the body with breath, and then accessing those deeper stretches through the hamstrings, hips, shoulders, all of that good stuff. All right, enough gabbing. Let's go ahead and walk our fingertips over towards the left. Find your runner's lunge. Step that left foot back to meet right. Plank pose here. And we're going to pulse up and down. So if you need to take a look in the monitor, you can take a look. We're going to peel those hips up for our downward facing dog, but keep the feet and hands exactly where they are. So we're in a very wide downward facing dog here. Exhale, plank. Inhale, wide leg dog. Exhale, plank. To make this a little bit more challenging, reach the right leg up in that wide leg dog. And then pull the knee in towards the chest. Inhale, right leg reaches up. Exhale, pull knee to chest. 5, 3, and 1. Return back to your plank pose if you're not already there. That right foot steps back. Let's take that on the left side. Reach that left leg up. So we're in that wide-legged downward dog so that we don't need to kind of come into those back and forth presses like we do at the beginning of class. This is a little different. We'll find 5 of these. So inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left knee to chest. In, out. 3, 2, 1. Returning back to your plank pose. Let's wash it clean with our chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, bend your knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, arms circle, sweep up, grow nice and long. And exhale, hands to heart. I'm going to come into our balancing sequence here. So I'd like for you guys to come to the top of your mat. And we're going to get a little funky here. So come to the top Actually, come to the back of your mat. I'm changing my mind as I go. So come to the back of your mat, and we're going to start by bringing the weight into that right foot and pulling left knee in towards the chest. Just rotate that left ankle. Go ahead and open to your dancing Shiva pose. So open that left leg out to the left, right arm out to the right. If you're the dancer type and want to extend that left leg, go ahead and grab the foot or ankle and lengthen that left leg. Slowly come back to center. Keep that left knee in towards the chest. Bring your hands to your heart and then step that left foot forward. So you're taking a step closer to the top of your mat. Pull that right knee in towards the chest. Give it a squeeze. Rotate at the ankle. Find your dancing Shiva pose on this side. Open up that right leg out to the right, left arm out to the left. Again, if you're that dancer type, maybe you grab onto the foot and lengthen. Slowly start to come out of it. Keep that right knee pulled to the chest, hands to the heart. Step that right foot forward this time. So we're taking another step forward. Bend that left knee and grab onto the ankle behind your bum. Lengthen that left quad towards the ground. And a lot of you guys tuned into one of my classes where I talked a lot about the outside grip versus the inside grip. So in your dancer pose, a classic dancer has an inside grip. So you're touching the inside of your ankle. But personally, I prefer an outside grip. So I grab the outside of my ankle. So wherever you are, we'll find our dancer pose. Inhale, right arm reaches up to the sky. And with the exhale, hinging forward, letting that chest become parallel to your mat. Kicking the left foot into your hand and pulling the foot back towards the body. Breathe in and out. Slowly start to come out of this pose. Pick that left knee back up to the chest, hands to the heart, and you guessed it, we're going to step that left foot forward this time. So I'm creeping my way towards you guys. We're going to bend that right knee, grab onto the outside or inside of the ankle. Again, lengthen that quad to start, so press that knee towards the ground. Hips press forward. Inhale, left arm reaches up. Let's find our dancer pose when you're ready by hinging on the hips, allowing that chest to come forward, kicking the foot into the hand. Hold for one more breath. Ever so slowly start to pick that right knee back to the chest. And this time we'll step into your mountain pose. Go ahead and shake out the wrists, shake out the legs. And then we will flow onto our bellies here. So inhale, arms circle, sweep up. Exhale, hands to the heart, hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, step back to your plank pose. Dropping down to your elbows, finding your forearm plank. We're going to keep the palms open and notice how those hips kind of want to stay up. I want you to keep those hips down and in line with the shoulders. So you really have to press through the heels. Imagining those heels are touching the back of your mat. Chest is pulling forward, chin is tucked toward the chest. Breathe in, breathe out. 2 more here. Stay with me. I'm struggling too, but we're going to work it. We're going to do this. Last breath. Lower the knees and the hips to the ground. Relax into your Sphinx pose. So we're keeping that chin tucked and using the forearm connection to kind of gently pull our chest forward. Take 2 breaths here to relax through your abdominal muscles. One more. And then slowly turn your way on to your table pose by pressing yourself up. And then we're going to find a threaded needle here. So the left arm stays on, or the left hand stays to the ground. Inhale, right arm opens up. Exhale, thread your needle here by bringing that right shoulder down and through that window. To make this pose less intense, you're going to sink those hips back. To make it a little bit more intense, keep those hips stacked above the knees. So it's just a matter of transferring your weight. Some people love to go for a balancing posture here by extending the left toes to the back of the mat and maybe even reaching those toes up. So this is just an accessory. It's not necessary in your pose. You definitely have to engage that left glute to keep that leg lifted. And if you're in that leg lift, go ahead and start to bring the knee back down. Reestablish left hand to the mat. Inhale, right arm sweeps open. And exhale, table pose. Taking that to the other side, right hand plants. Inhale, left arm swings open. Exhale, thread your needle. And you guys know the drill, same rules apply. Allow those hips to float in the location that feels best suited for this posture. If you'd like that balancing, you're going to send the right toes back this time. Maybe the right toes reach up off the ground. Keep that right foot flexed and engage the right glute. If that leg is lifted, go ahead and start to bring it back down to your mat. Right hand plants. Inhale, left arm swings open. And exhale, coming back to your table pose. Our next destination will be our pigeon pose. If you prefer to take that in a reclined position, you can go ahead and lay down on your backs. If you'd like to follow me through a prone pigeon, tuck the toes under, lift hips up and back. Inhale, right leg reaches up towards the sky, and with the exhale, pull the right knee towards the right wrist and just let yourself sit down here. So a couple very important cues that we need to make sure that we are listening to is making sure that that right thigh is parallel to the long edge of the mat. So I'll give you guys a little visual. You know, it's hard to teach virtually because you're not really seeing what the students are doing. So I hope that my cues are nice and clear for you guys. So when I say right thigh parallel to the long edge of the mat, this is what I'm looking for. A lot of times we're like out here, right? And now that knee is really cranked open. I want to make sure that you guys are protecting your knee. So that left leg that bottom of your right leg just kind of falls wherever it needs to be. So it doesn't need to be across your mat in a straight position. It can be more diagonal. That left leg can either extend long towards the back, or maybe you choose to open up the left knee out towards the left. This makes it a little less stretchy. And you might also consider placing a block underneath the right glute as a little bit of a cushion. Wherever you are, just enjoy this pose. If you like, you might slowly start to hinge your way down. I personally like to take a block underneath my forehead. That way I don't mess with the audio, and as well, it kind of relaxes my shoulders away from my ears. Relaxes the tension that I might be holding in the neck. And now we just get to kind of luxuriate in this pose. We'll find 3 more deep breaths here. Slowly starting to return out of this pose by propping your way up, tucking left toes under, reaching back to your downward facing dog, taking any wiggles. Then eventually that left leg reaches up towards the sky, finding your prone pigeon on the other side. So the left knee comes towards the wrist. Once again, make sure that left thigh is parallel to the long edge of your mat, and take any modifications that you need to make this comfortable for you. And one of the best modifications you can do is taking that block underneath the left hip so that you're putting a little less pressure on that hip flexor. Eventually soften your way into a version of this pose that feels most restorative for you. Take about 5 deep breaths here. Take your last 2 breaths. We're going to transition to laying all the way on our back. So take your time to get there, either visiting your downward facing dog for a moment or just kind of rotating yourself onto your backs. Laying down, finding a nice full body stretch, reaching the fingertips away from the toes. Pulling the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a squeeze, inviting maybe a gentle sway from left to right. Keeping that right knee in towards the chest, lengthen left leg down your mat. Finding a quick little wind relieving pose, massaging the internal organs. And this wind relieving posture will take us into our twist by letting that right leg lengthen over towards the left. And personally, I like to take a block and place it underneath my right knee so it's not just floating. It just provides it a little bit of support so I can really access a deep twist using the weight of my body. Gaze can be in any direction that feels best for your neck. And these reclining twists also massage our internal organs, removing any toxins, providing our spine with a recalibration, allowing all of those benefits of movement to kind of seep into the spine and body. Slowly start to come back to center. Pull the left knee in towards the chest as you lengthen right leg down your mat, finding a quick wind relieving pose here. Allowing this to carry us into our twist by letting that left leg over towards the right. Again, taking any modification that you need to make this feel comfortable. Soften into this pose. So you can be in this pose for forever without receiving any benefits if your body is really tight. Once you relax it, you just really feel all of those benefits to this posture. Coming back to center and taking any last posture of your choice. And whatever feels best for you. It might not even be considered a yoga pose, it might just feel good. So just take any movements here before finding your final resting posture. And once you're in your final resting posture, just take a nice deep breath in and out. Allow everything to just kind of relax. And again, it takes a breath or two to really find that softness. Yesterday, I stumbled upon this little poem that I'd like to share with you guys by Rumi called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. They may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Shanti. Om. Slowly start to return back to center, taking your time to reawaken as you expand your breath. Ever so slowly picking your way back up into your seat. Bringing your hands somewhere over the body, maybe the heart and the belly. Remember, even on your hardest days, you can welcome any emotions, even if they're the worst. Nothing can take away this little home within your heart. No amount of sorrow or pain, because you are grounded and divine, like any other creature on this earth. And the reality is, we all have this. We are humans. We are emotional. You just got to ride the waves. And through expressing this to one another, we realize how similar we truly are, rather than faking your way through happiness. We'll seal our practice in together with the sound of Om, connecting our vibrations as one. Starting with the cleansing breath in and out. And for Om. I truly thank all of you for being here today. And the emotions within my guest house bow to the emotions within your guest house. Namaste. Thank you guys all so much for being a part of another Mystic Fitness live flow. We have Deba Mitra coming to you live tomorrow morning for a Barkin style class. So I hope you guys like the little bit of variation there. And I will be tuning in back on Sunday to see you guys. And probably on Saturday, I'll be here too, flowing with Amy. So again, take care. Enjoy your sunny Thursday, not Wednesday. All right. Take care, you guys. Namaste.